Welcome to this webinar. We welcome on the behalf of IPQC team. We are happy to invite you to this webinar. It's a fantastic webinar. After discussing with so many companies, we identified there is a big gap between operations, manufacturing, and the finance. Finance team, their terminology is a little different, and the manufacturing terminology is a little different. Working capital management is a very hot topic now because of companies are facing a problem managing the working capital, especially SMEs across the world, even not in just in India, across the world. Working capital management in a crisis like a COVID is really a challenge. So we identified, communicate the same language what managers speak on a shop floor. Basically the same thing. Finance people, if they understand the same language, there is a lot of communication gap we can reduce. So with that objective, after interacting with so many CEOs. Mr. Pradeep Kumar is, proposed this. Is a fantastic, speaker we are having today. IPQC team is a basically consortium of, professionals, very senior people, worked across different sectors, different industries, and different countries across the world. And we focus more on operations related manufacturing, lean supply chain, quality management, even working capital management, funding options for SMEs for the new projects. Like many options we are exploring. We are trying to help SMEs, especially manufacturing firms, to improve their efficiency and productivity. um, our consulting group, we operate virtually across the country. So we take up the projects in the manufacturing, especially engineering industries. We are having a lot of talent, and we also focus on Z certification, Government of India's initiative. We are certified QCI consultants. Many of our colleagues are certified consultants by QCI. So with this brief introduction, I just request Harish to briefly, introduce Mr. Pradeep Kumar, today's guest, our guest speaker. So he will introduce. After that, 1 hour will be a session. After that, Q&A, and probably during Q&A you can ask questions. You can, if you want to write a question, you can write in a chat box. So we will start without delaying further. So I request Harish to introduce our Mr. Pradeep Kumar, today's speaker.
Good afternoon, all. We invite Mr. N. Pradeep Kumar, a consulting partner and advisor, IPQC Consulting Services. He is an lean and IE expert, having over 40 years of diverse experience. He is an industrial engineer from NITI, Mumbai, and he has spent 20 years in manufacturing industry in India and 10 years in consulting with SMEs, and last 10 years teaching business management in China. He is a fantastic resource person and expert for talking related to manufacturing and finance. I request Mr. Pradeep Kumar to take over, and we can have Q&A at the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, Pradeep sir, you can go ahead and initiate, sir.
Thank you, Raju.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harish, for all the arrangements. And I welcome the participants. I can see about a lot of participants. I understand there are 5 participants who have joined in, and one of them is a very close friend of mine. We will interact. I look forward to interacting.
Yeah, you can interact, and you can have some presentation in the beginning, and then you can open up the session.
Right. So this is not a very serious topic. So we would like to take it. I would like to make it a little more interactive. Because if it is a serious topic, it's something about technique or something like that, maybe we can do it seriously, but I would like to make it a little more interactive. So I will start sharing the screen here, and the PPT will help me with structuring my talk. Yeah, Harish, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Very nice. Thank you so much. So welcome to the webinar. This is actually manufacturing for finance managers, but it is actually for manufacturing. It's an appreciation of manufacturing for any manager. So any of you could be a manufacturing manager or a finance manager or any other manager. Let's have some idea about manufacturing. So we'll have an appreciation of manufacturing and how day-to-day decisions are taken on the shop floor. That's where the shop floor manager, how and why he behaves like that. That is one of the points for me to consider this course. Then we will have a discussion. The idea came when I was doing a lot of executive development programs on cost reduction for manufacturing companies and how to reduce costs and how to control costs. And a lot of finance managers were attending that, one-to-one finance managers. This was in Shanghai, in China. I asked them why you are attending this. This is meant for manufacturing managers. They said, no, we would like to learn something about manufacturing also. Our focus is cost reduction, but unless we understand what manufacturing is, we will not be able to effectively reduce costs. So then I thought, if finance managers are attending, maybe we can have a full-fledged course for finance managers. They also want to learn concepts like lean and all that, new concept. A lot of people keep talking about it. Also, I find manufacturing managers also, they know cost, okay, but can't identify variable cost from fixed costs. And many manufacturing managers barely manage the shop floor, just able to run day-to-day operations, but they're not very keen on initiatives like cost reduction and all that. Maybe either because of their capability or because of the time or inclination, whatever it is, they were not keen on this. If that's the case, then it is necessary that finance managers be exposed to manufacturing operations so that they work together and work on improving the performance of the manufacturing company. Another reason why this program is there are lots of courses on finance for non-finance managers. This is something which every time I see that, I see there must be some people who are wanting manufacturing for finance people. So that is why this webinar on manufacturing for finance managers, for any manager for that matter. What is the central idea of this webinar? It is to develop a common understanding among managers of any manufacturing company. When there is no common understanding, I keep saying something and the other manager keeps saying something, and we discuss for some point, then we disagree for some point, then we can't move forward with our goals. So that is the idea why this program is chosen. Harish, am I audible?
Yes.
Very nice. Thank you so much. Because their power cuts, etc., will be there, so sometime I might be off. Why this? Maximum costs are incurred in manufacturing. The more finance managers understand manufacturing, the better would be their decision making and control of costs. A common language improves understanding, generates mutual trust, fosters teamwork among various functional managers of the company, resulting in improved company performance. I understand some of the participants, there are from one company, there are 2 or 3 or 4 participants from one company. So the first point that I would like to bring to your notice is the difference in viewpoints. Anything that moves is seen by finance managers differently from manufacturing managers. Finance managers see in terms of money, manufacturing managers see in terms of time. That's just one of the differences. Just checking. What is the concept of cost? People should be thorough with all these things. Variable and fixed costs, sunk and marginal costs, out-of-pocket expenses, cost structure, etc. And Taiki Ono, who started this just-in-time, who created just-in-time system at Toyota, said cost is a shadow of time. So if you want to reduce costs, you should look at the time it takes. Any task that takes time costs money. If it takes more time, it costs more money. So what are the concept of time as what are they? In manufacturing, we use lead time, cycle time, changeover time, takt time. Many of you could be very familiar with all this, but let me take a little bit of time to explain this. Lead time is from start to end. You give a trigger, and when will you get to the end, get to the result. You switch on a light, tube light will take a little bit of time. Any other bulb will be switched on. Okay, that time gap between trigger and the result is lead time. Cycle time is for repetitive activities, something that is running. Okay, every cycle it might be producing one product. So how long does it take to produce, say, in an automobile assembly line? Every 24 seconds one car is produced. So 24 seconds is the cycle time. So every 24 seconds one car will be coming out. It's a repetitive. It happens every 24 seconds. The operations have been perfected to that level that you can expect that after every 24 seconds, then automobile will come out. And there are machines, there are presses, and machines that produce very fast. There are some presses that produce pressed components. It could be 100 strokes per minute, that means 100 parts per minute. It could be 1000 strokes per minute or 1000 parts per minute. So there are high speed presses, etc. That cycle time will be very fast. Assembly line also, like automobile assembly lines are a little slower. Okay. Changeover time. When we talked about presses, we say they are very fast, of course, but presses need a tool. A tool needs to be mounted on that machine, and this takes a long time, sometimes hours, maybe very long. Okay, because the tool needs to be removed, another tool needs to be set and adjusted. A lot of time will go for adjustment. So this changeover time is also very critical in terms of in operations. Takt time is used mostly in lean operations. Lean operations are such that you can adjust the level, adjust the cycle time. Suppose automobile company says they'll produce every 24 seconds. Suppose there is less demand. Demand is half. So they may arrange the labor, etc., in such a way that one car takes, instead of 24 seconds, 48 seconds. That means they can produce half the number of cars. So the takt time tells you how much is the demand. So how to adjust the cycle time so that we don't produce excess, we produce as much as the customer is wanting. So takt time is the time available for making a delivery, okay, or making a product. Time, because the demand is less, takt time will be longer, more. If there is more demand, takt time will be reduced, very short. Okay, so this is about time. Then coming back to our two friends, one finance manager and one manufacturing manager, there are many things that they differ. One, adding value. One looks at the cost incurred, the other one looks at the time taken. Finance managers look at how to save money, manufacturing managers look at how to save time. Finance managers is ROI, for manufacturing managers it is productivity. So when there is a difference in viewpoint, until there is an empathy, that manufacturing managers say, yeah, I know what you mean. You might tell the finance manager, see, what you mean by ROI is actually on the shop floor, it is productivity. Okay? Or if I can improve my productivity, your ROI will increase. So that's why we are looking at what can be the possible common language or terms, or how we can translate one to another. There's more. Manufacturing managers are always concerned with workers, unions, customers, because of quality problems. Any time there can be a quality problem, so customer complaints may come. Okay, that's why manufacturing managers are more concerned about customers. Finance managers are more concerned with shareholders and lenders. They have a different thing to tackle. Shareholders could be complaining about not enough returns on investments and also many things. Okay, so the concerns are different, and there are more. Finance managers look at annual reports; they're too busy making them whole year. Manufacturing managers are worried about their daily production figures. Today's production. What is today's production? That's all. Okay, that's what is their concern. Some more. When something is varying, the finance manager views that as there is some uncertainty and risk. Whereas the manufacturing manager will say it's a variability. Either the cycle time is varying or the quality of the product is varying. So he would like to use some statistical methods to control either the quality or the cycle time. Manufacturing manager is concerned about controlling that. Finance manager is looking at mitigating the risks, or how we can reduce the risk. So these are the differences. I hope this is only to set the tone for our discussion. If you have any questions, you can always ask. As with anyone, we must look at the good news, and we must pay our respects to the prevailing forces. The biggest prevailing force now is COVID. So we must close our eyes, pray, and move forward with this webinar. Good news that there is a vaccine is coming, and a lot of people are saying, oh, where do you want to go for summer vacation, where do you want to go, and all that. They're all planning so many things. So we're all very happy about the COVID vaccine. Let's look at that. Now, from COVID vaccine, let's try to understand what is manufacturing. If we can understand what the purpose of manufacturing, many other things become very clear after that. For example, purpose of finance, to maximize value of the firm to its owners. I mean, these definitions can be anything. Many people pick up from many places. Okay, I picked up from one place. Accounting, maintaining a systematic accurate and complete record of all financial transactions of the business. That's accounting. And for manufacturing, what is the purpose? Guess, keep thinking, we'll come to that. Okay, there is a small problem with this. Okay, sorry. Apologies for the small disruption. We can derive the purpose of manufacturing by looking at how a product moves from R&D to manufacturing to distribution and sales. For example, take the COVID vaccine. COVID vaccine is still in R&D. It's almost coming out of R&D. Okay, then it will go to manufacturing and it will go to distribution and sales. So what is the purpose of R&D? To turn ideas to products in a lab. In manufacturing, products are made for the masses, and distribution, products reach the people in need. Okay, so we are trying to derive what the purpose of manufacturing is. Now, can we guess? In my opinion, I mean, you could be having a different view, but let's see. Produce in large numbers at low cost. In lab, you can't produce at low cost. You can't produce in large numbers. Okay, so lab, you can only make to lab scale, and whatever they make, it will be very expensive. And they can make very few. So why it is, the moment it is given to manufacturing, it is given with certain purpose. And the manufacturing is supposed to produce in large numbers at low cost. These twin goals need to be achieved. How and what do manufacturing people do for this? Is once manufacturing takes over, tasks to make the product are split, standardized, shared, and the work is made to flow. The manufacturing guys come with their own tools, and whatever the vaccine there is made in the lab, they will convert that into a production process. The process, how do we produce? So break it down into small operations, processes, and use the available machines that we have got. Okay, we have got these machines, so let's try to use our machines to make that product. Okay, so standardization, step, and sharing of the tasks. Okay, and the work has to flow right from beginning to end. So this is a way of establishing the manufacturing operations so that there is efficiency, you can keep the cost low, and you can produce in large numbers. As you are setting in, learning curve sets in. That means interruptions reduce, stoppage of machines, checking for certain things, all this will reduce. And the people who are working on that, they will start producing more faster and increase the speed. Okay, slowly they will be able to increase in speed. It's something like you're learning to ride a bike. Initially you'll fall so many times, then you'll start driving slowly, then you'll do it fast. Okay, so that's called the learning curve. What is learning curve? Learning curve. Okay, that means first time to second time to third time, the time taken keeps reducing. As the time taken keeps reducing, the cost keeps reducing. Okay, so if there's only one thing that you need to look at, if you can reduce the time taken in operations or in manufacturing, you can safely assume that the cost is going to come down. Next, it's all about repetitive tasks. Manufacturing is so boring. Every day you do the same thing again and again and again, every day. But in manufacturing, one thing that you can do very easily is make a change, make an improvement. This cannot happen in sales. This cannot happen in any other department. If you want to make a change, it can happen only in manufacturing, because it is necessary to meet the purpose. You have to keep on reducing the cost. You have to keep on changing the process, the operations, the tool used, the machine used, better skill, faster. It's all about that. That's why it's very exciting. As it is, I find working on the shop floor is very exciting. You have to keep on. You can make a change every day. Another thing about working on the shop floor is that though it is repeating, there is a goal for improvement, and goal for improvement is like perfection, zero defect, lowest lead time, fastest thing. Okay, and there is, if you have not achieved that, there will be so much of chaos on the shop floor. Every day they'll be saying, "Sab material khatam ho gaya, udhar machine breakdown ho gaya. Today there is labor has not come." So the manufacturing managers here is being pulled in all directions. Machine breakdown, people have not come, the material has not come, sufficient things not there. So every day is a chaos. But over the time, hour to hour, these problems are being solved. And by end of the day, the problems get solved. And it gives a lot of satisfaction for the manufacturing manager. Oh, today I have solved this problem. Let me go home. Tomorrow we'll have another challenge. So that's why manufacturing is very exciting also. Okay, so this is the thing. When you stop serving the purpose, you lose. What is the purpose? Reduce costs, make more. Okay, so if you're not doing that, the manufacturing will go off to Vietnam or Bangladesh or anywhere. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. So what is one of the important things in manufacturing is standardization. Even before entering manufacturing, we can say standardization is the key. How can we standardize things? Product is, there is a modularization. Shirt collar sizes. I wear shirt size of 40, or somebody will 42. Okay, the moment that it is standardized, now entire population can be covered with just a few sizes of shirts. Motor frames, motors. Okay, motor size. The electric motors are identified by the frame sizes. Okay, small frame size, big frame size, and all that. Okay, then they have standardized that. The moment you standardize that, you can have this or that or that. You adjust. So it becomes so simple. Standardization solves so many problems. Tools have sizes, all the spanners, screwdrivers, everything is packing, box sizes, materials used, everything. These days, if you're getting from Amazon, they have some 3 or 4 sizes. Okay, your smallest thing will go to one size, next one, another size, another one, another size. Okay, the materials used also are get standardized: 3-ply, 5-ply, 7-ply, like that. Okay, this is what we follow in our day-to-day, working Monday to Saturday, cleaning on Sunday, changing bed sheets every 2 weeks, or I don't know, every day, whatever it is. Okay, and timing 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. All this is standardization, means that you're trying to improve your efficiency or reduce costs or do more. Okay, this is all manufacturing in our day-to-day lives. Manufacturing is no different from life. Process steps are standardized. Bus routes have numbers. Okay, this route number 27, route number 102, whatever it is, they're all standardized so that there is an efficiency. Choices in menu also are standardized. Dress code, Many companies have uniform and all that. Okay, schools, they all have. All is standardization. And after this, look at when you go back to your company or factory, what it is. If you find non-standard things, okay, look for question why it can't be standardized. Okay, this will give you a lot of savings. Can people be standardized? Of course, we say people accounting 5 years experience, sales 7 years experience. We try to standardize there also, okay, in many ways. But to people, it's not all that relevant. So don't take a risk in standardizing people. Other things can be. Okay, coming back to understanding manufacturing, it is repetitive. It is not one-off. Many small companies I have seen that they try to get some small 2 jobs on the same shop floor as where the mass production is going on. And the manufacturing manager is told, Baba, like Natch is some new thing we have given. Why didn't you get it made? The manufacturing manager is a little dumb. Normally they don't talk much. Actually, he has to disturb the entire line to make that one piece. The cost is very high. It's not reflected in any of the cost statements. And once the manufacturing manager asks somebody to stop this line and do this, the entire shop floor goes into it loses the rhythm. There's a disturbance, and it takes quite some time to get back to that rhythm. So one-off is not manufacturing, should not be done on the same floor as you are manufacturing your product. This is something which some of the MSME owners also fail to appreciate this. Allow manufacturing to stabilize, work at a particular rhythm, a pace, okay? Then it keeps going at that place. So it is not one-off. That one thing I wanted to stress very clearly. Second is economization. It is inbuilt in our nature. Economization. When we are maybe in the park or there is a lot of lawn, etc. Many of us economize. Instead of going along the edges and then take a right turn and go there, we cut through diagonally and walk over the lawn. Though there is a board kept there, do not walk on the grass. Okay, we try to do this economization. It's there in our genes. We want to do it. Okay, but if you do it scientifically, it helps in manufacturing. So standardization is one aspect of economization. Okay, all things are standardization. Second is how we organize the tasks. How we organize, group by type, by function, or by nature of work. Like we said, all the I'm sorry. So we group the task on Sunday what we are going to do. Okay. Another thing is we group the task by, I'm going to the market on so and so day. So all the things that are necessary for me to bring from the market, I'll pile up. Okay. So I go once in a week to the market. So I'll group all the things. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to economize my efforts. That's what is done in manufacturing also. Okay. Or all the things by function or by process. So these days a lot of work is being done in all the men are working in the kitchen, so cutting vegetables. So all the cutting jobs I would like to do for the day at one time. So I tell my wife to give me all the cutting jobs. I'll cut all of them, keep by function. Okay, cutting. So by nature of work, by function or whatever it is, we try to group them. And this is what is all about manufacturing. Okay, so there is something called batch production and functional organization. Let's see what it is. So there is a job shop or a functional or batch production. And we are now moving to the what are known as forms of manufacturing. If you have any questions anytime, please ask. Okay, you can type, you can put it in the question, and maybe Harish should be able to stop me and say, okay, there's a question. Okay, any point of time you have any question, please ask. Now let's look at, we talked about functional organization and batch production. What are they? So functional specialization means where do we see product or job moves from one operation to next. Now all companies are organized as functional organization. Finance department, manufacturing department, sales department, HR department, all this. Okay, these are all functionally organized. The strength lies in a range of functions at one place. They're all specialists. They'll solve problems. They can do anything. All accountants can, you can give any accounting problem, they'll be able to solve that. That's why they're all together. Okay, hospitals also. There are X-rays, there is a lab, there is something. Exhibitions, ocean park also are divided as per the function or the game or what it is. A large format retail store, like any of the retail store that we have, vegetables are kept at one place, bread at one place, then cold drinks are at one place. Okay, they're all that kind of a specialization. They're all at one place. How it's kept. Okay, so how do we, if we have organized this as a manufacturing, okay, how do we improve the performance? The quality of every individual function must be seen. Okay, so if you have a small machine shop, you have a few lathes, a few milling machines, 1 or 2 grinding machines, etc. Okay, and a job is there that requires grinding, milling and cutting. So how do we schedule that? So if I give a job now, when will you give me? So this is a fundamental thing in a job shop, scheduling. It is even in private companies, if you give some application, how long does it take? We don't know. Even in private companies that I was working in, I've gone on a tour, then I gave all the bills, I give it in some place. I don't know when I'm going to get the money. I can't ask because it will take its own time. The priority is at each table, it will take some time. So it's difficult to predict. So in job shop, what's most important thing is the quality is at that particular thing. You can't have an overall quality policy or something like that. Okay, at each point there can be a mistake. Second thing is scheduling is very, very important. In job shop, if you're talking about scheduling, it must be a job shop. No other place scheduling is important. Second is batch production. In a batch production, we accumulate and process. So there is a changeover from one task to another. Okay, sometimes physical tasks, sometimes mental tasks. Okay, so we would like to do all mental tasks of one type at a time, then go to physical tasks. It is resource focused. It means the big machine is there. Press. The press needs a changeover. So because the press is big and it needs to be changed over. Okay, and because it is fast, So this sort of a thing is done. Batch production is done. Had it been a low-cost machine, you would have purchased 3 or 4 and kept 1 or 2 idle. There is no problem. The batch production comes when a resource is expensive and its utilization is important. So batch Sunday tasks including washing machines, pharmaceuticals and food processing are all batch production. Classroom, 1 batch, 2019 batch of students, 2020 batch of students. Okay. Bus, train, plane, everything is batch. So they're all, because bus is expensive. Okay. So you want to utilize it properly. Okay. So a batch is taken. A train takes a batch. Plane takes a batch. What is the performance? How do you gauge the performance? How can you improve the performance? There's an economic batch quantity. Okay, you heard about that. Lot quantity, economic lot quantity, batch quantity, and all that. Okay, so big batch is not always better. So there has very small batch also is not very good. So you can determine the economic batch quantity. Remember, economic batch quantity is not suited for job shop. Job shop, the rules are different. And in this performance, change over time from one type to another type. SMED, if you have heard about, single minute exchange of dies, is suitable in batch type of production. In no other production, this SMED is used. So if somebody is talking about change over times, remember it is for batch production. Then there is something called an unbalanced flow. There are many forms of manufacturing. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so many. We are discussing the third one. First one was job shop, second batch, third is unbalanced flow. Unbalanced flow is something like you're going for a marriage, a lot of food is there, people are all standing in a line with plate. At some counters there are more people, at some counter they're moving slowly, at some counter they're moving fast. There is an accumulation. Okay, that means there is an unbalanced flow. The unbalanced flow, though the dishes have been put in a line, but the things don't move in a balanced way. Okay, operations are all in a process. Not all take the same time. There are factories, they're producing their product, but they have in that factory there are bottlenecks. There are some machines are bottlenecks. There are offices with procedures. The procedures are bottlenecks. So for which certain procedures they have to get clearance from CEO. Okay, something like that. And example is buffet. People do not move uniformly. That is one thing. How do we improve performance? Okay, so here the total lead time reduction from starting when you entered that line of that buffet, the end, how much time does it take? How to reduce that? So here again, you need to balance the resources. If there's only one plate, maybe normally, I don't know which, some bagai, baingan or something like that gets too much of rush. So you make 2 of them. Okay, 2. If you add more resources, maybe it will smooth it out. So that's how you can improve the manufacturing operations. Okay. Though I am talking about manufacturing, I am giving you other examples because you can relate. If I say this also and that also, you'll be able to relate. And it's all, we live manufacturing. Balanced flow. What is balanced flow? Is an assembly line like automobile production. Equal work each station. Every 24 seconds, an automobile comes out. Balanced, perfectly balanced line. Okay. Performance is cycle time. If you can reduce cycle time from 24 seconds to 20 seconds, oh my God, you have improved 20%. You have 20% productivity. So much. If you just reduce by 4 seconds, the productivity goes up. So in a company where assembly line is running, balanced line running, all that you have to do is reduce cycle time. And if you just reduce the cycle time by 1 second, the entire company's performance goes up. Okay, so this can be done by line balancing, resource balancing, or work content balancing, or putting technology, faster machines, okay, removing errors, okay, all this. So the line balancing example. So how much is the work content, how much is the cycle time, the idleness. So you remove an idle, the worker F is removed, his tasks are distributed to others. So overall efficiency is gone up. One of the examples. Okay, then we have continuous flow. Chemical plants, all this, they're continuously processing. Okay, heart pumping blood through our arteries and veins. It's continuously run, continuous. The performance is total throughput. Cycle time can be seen here. Okay, in terms of what are the, mostly it is given as speed, meters per minute, etc. So that's one thing you need to know. Cycle time could be your heartbeat. Okay, material balance plus other factors like heat balance are also considered. Okay, so here you need to achieve a balance of everything, the input output, how much heat is coming in, how much heat is going out, how material is coming in and going out. Okay, you can do that. And there is no economic batch quantity here, there is no scheduling, no nothing. See, at each different form of manufacturing, different considerations are there. Depending on the company that you are working in, you should be applying specific set of techniques. Not everything is applicable to all manufacturing. So I hope I made myself clear on the distinct differences of different forms of manufacturing. So what it leads to is it is a continuous flow where a paper mill and all these things are there. Okay. So coming to this, what you see is, if I remove all this detail, this comes to a what is known as cost curve. That means these, as they are coming down, the costs are reduced. If you want to produce a product at a lower cost, all that you have to do is adopt a form of manufacturing lower than this. Okay. So if you are having job shop, you go to batch. If you are having batch, you go to flow. If you are flow, you go to this. Okay. Thereby, you want to reduce cost, you need to go down. I hope I'm clear. Any questions you can ask. Now, if you want to add value, that means customers want some special design, special variety. Okay, so you need to move up. Some customers want differently. So we can go from point A to point B in a city using a taxi or a bus or maybe something else. Okay. If you want to go by bus, it is cheaper. That means you're going down the slope. Okay, you're adopting something lower. But if you want to go special, then value, that means you have to go up. So a taxi will be higher up in this, a bus will be lower. A taxi is like a job shop, a bus is a batch. Okay, so if you are in the market where you are trying to please your customers, giving specific different products to different customers, you need to have a different approach. Okay, don't try to confuse that with cost reduction. Anyway, I have some more. It's already 40 minutes. There are many more things to talk about. Please ask questions at any point of time. I've got even one question so far. Harish, am I audible?
Yes, I will. Yes.
Yeah. I would appreciate if any questions are coming. I can focus my discussion on that. Okay. So if you want to reduce costs, So you move from job shop to something here. That's a summary of the talk so far. There are different forms, different techniques are applicable at different places, and you want to reduce cost, you move down this line. A lot of people want to know what is lean manufacturing. So lean manufacturing stems out of unbalanced flow. Unbalanced flow is such an unimportant thing, but it has its place value. If it is a balanced flow, you can't have lean, because lean says that you should be able to produce different products on the same assembly line. Whether assembly line or even any company, any manufacturing flow, if you are having only one product, then go down this line to balanced flow or continuous flow. But if you have to have different products, 2 of one size, 3 of another size, 25 of some other size, all one after the other you need to make, then you adopt lean manufacturing. Okay, from an unbalanced flow, you'll move to lean. So lean means balanced flow with mixed model production. Different models, one big and one small. Okay, you make them together, then maybe on an average it is balanced. Okay, but this requires little more focus on quality. You must get zero defect, almost near to zero defect before you go to lean. So there is every time there is a problem, you stop the line. Okay, so you must give an assurance that there is a zero defect that is going from your operation to the next operation. So if the next guy says no, this is not okay, you must stop the line and make the corrections. There's a Kanban supply chain, etc. there. I will show you what Kanban is. Example is an assembly line. Performance is takt time. You must produce to takt time. We discussed this. If the demand is more, takt time is shorter, you need to produce faster. If the demand is less, you need to produce slow. Means you can remove some people out of manufacturing and put them in sales, okay, or anywhere, so that you can produce less. What happens in that is you will be producing with less people, maybe less cost, near zero inventory, and shortest lead time. This is what lean can give. Then another thing, cell, lean cell. Cell means small, something very small. Okay, all operations in one place. Of course, an assembly line, automobile assembly line cannot be made into a cell, but if there are some components for a car, those can be made in one cell. A cell can be having only one worker or maybe 2 or 3 workers, but it's all very close at one place. Okay, the sequence can be modified. It can be different products can be done. Okay, all the tools etc. are there at that place. Cell is a very efficient form of manufacturing. So preferably one man. Okay, example, bank clerk. Now bank clerks, earlier they used to have, you go to a bank, you give check, you give a token, and cash counter, you go and receive it. But nowadays they have created that as a cell. That bank clerk can go receive and give you the money, everything at one place. So that is one example. You go to McDonald's, etc. That's all at one place. You don't give orders at one place, collect from another place. Okay. So performance is speed and service. The queuing models are used in this, and customer satisfaction will be very good in this case, because always you are dealing, a customer is dealing with only one person in that place, not you give token at one place and collect it from another place. So there is better customer satisfaction. So I would like to invite questions at this point before we go further. Okay, okay. This is a flow, that is a press shop. All operations is kept in a sequence. The same thing converted to a cell. Okay, cell means only two people, 1, 2. They'll be keeping around. They'll be walking around all these presses, and they'll be making the production. Okay, so this is what I would like to stop at this point and invite questions. Any questions?
We got 2 questions through mail. I will paste that so that you can. I will paste in Q&A.
Yeah, but okay. I would like to any questions in the chat box, or you can unmute.
You can ask directly. Audience can ask directly questions.
Yes.
They can type in Q&A box.
Because if there are no questions, I don't know what to do, what to say next. Any curiosity, anything, how we can apply this to something else in life, anywhere. How to reduce cost? Okay, I would like to ask questions. Okay, there's a question for what is takt time. Okay, I'll ask some more questions, please. Let's have some more questions. Yeah, any questions are coming in? I couldn't see any questions. Okay, there is one. Somebody answering these questions. Okay.
There's one question: how Kaizen help to reduce the cost?
Kaizen. Okay. We talked about learning curve. Okay, so we talked about learning curve. Learning curve means very initially. Yeah, okay. The time taken, if you can reduce the time taken, the cost will come down. Okay, so what is the question? How to reduce cost with Kaizen? Is that the question?
Yes.
Yeah, Shashank. Yeah, Shashank, can you unmute yourself, please? And then can you help me? Can you tell me about your operations? Yeah, unmute yourself and you can tell me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Very nice. Yes.
I work in a pharma industry and
okay.
I look after the operations.
So okay.
Plant manufacturings.
Very nice.
That respect, how the Kaizen will help me to cut down the cost. Now it's
okay. Take any one operation that you are most familiar with. What is the one operation that you can describe?
A manufacturing operation where a product is manufactured, starting from a batch weighment to a packaging. That's the entire manufacturing process.
Yeah, batch weighment okay, even if you take batch weighment, okay, how you can reduce the time taken in batch weighment? Take one. How many people are engaged in that?
Generally 2 to 3 persons.
Okay. So now find a way whether you can reduce from 2 or 3 to only one man. Can you make it into a one-man operation? You provide a trolley, tool, crane, what it is necessary, but that one man should be able to operate fully. Now this requires a lot of ideas, okay, problems, ideas.
Looks difficult in pharma industry because in pharma industry we do follow a doer and checker concept. So
Very nice.
So that's
So
how.
make it two. So make it two. But doer and checker, very nice, very good concept. Okay. They when one guy, you divide this into two halves. One guy does, other one checks. Okay. Other same thing, other guy does and this guy checks. Okay. Divided into two parts. But the job should be done by one person only. Okay, so one person does, other person will check. Okay, while the other person is doing, this person will check. So is it possible for you to divide, create a handling system or whatever it is necessary to make only one person do the job?
Doesn't look like to happen because one person.
Okay, tell me where it can't happen.
See, the payment process involves a lot of things like you get the material inside the cubicle where you weigh the material. In pharma
Yes.
industry, we believe that we bring only one material inside the cubicle. We weigh that,
Precisely.
then take it out, and then bring the another material. So a lot of activities are involved. So with a single person, multiple activities. I'm not saying it is impossible, but it is difficult.
Yeah, the day you are able to see the possibilities, okay, then this becomes a small improvement. It is not a big improvement in the entire company. It is an improvement at one operation, one process, and where two people are doing the job. So Kaizen means that you study this particular operation and look for ideas. So you allow these two people to, while they are working, look for ideas. Ask them to list down the ideas. The way I have questioned you, you question them. You say that it should be done by only one person. Tell me why it can't be done. So you list down all these 10 or 12 reasons. Okay, and tick off, solve each one of them. Then you'll go towards the solution. Okay, the many people have done it. You too can do it.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, yeah, some other question I would like you to ask. I would like you to ask me. What is takt time? Yeah, there is another question is takt time. So I'll go back to the same example of automobile assembly line is balanced at 24 seconds. One car comes out, which means in one day, nearly 1,000 cars will come out. Approximately, simple, okay? That means if the demand is somewhere between 900 to 1100, so 1,000 is okay. But if the demand has come down to around 400, 500, 600, so you need to reduce the speed of production. Instead of 24 seconds, you can go to, maybe if you remove half the people, you can go, next step is 48 seconds. You can remove the people. So if it is demand is gone to half, the takt time would increase. Okay, and so when the demand goes down, the takt time will increase. So for your own calculations, maybe take a pencil and paper. 480 minutes is a shift, 24 hours is a cycle time. What is the daily production that they can make? If that If the demand is at that, they will produce the same. If the demand is reduced to half, okay, how much will the takt time be? At 24 means into 48 seconds. At 48 seconds, what will be your capacity of how much demand can you meet? That you can do a calculation. Okay, I hope because I am not using a pencil, I'm trying to do it orally for you.
One more question: that can Kanban be used for COVID vaccine distribution?
Kanban is a replenishment system. Okay, leave out the vaccine distribution. Suppose we get milk every day to our house, some big basket daily or whatever it is. Okay, so every day he is giving you milk, and someday you don't want milk. How do we signal that? If we say we don't want milk on Thursday, okay, then he will stop. Otherwise, he'll keep on sending. Okay. The other way is, so you keep on dabba outside your door. If the dabba is there, he will put that milk. If the dabba is not there, he will not put that milk on that day. Okay. So you are giving a signal to that person that we don't want today. If you put a dabba, you will get milk. If you don't put a dabba, you will not get milk. So Kanban is a way of signaling that I want, and this can be used only for repeat. Okay, when there is a repeat thing, and there is no word being talked. Nobody talks to anyone. You just put a dabba. Nobody says anything. Dabba rakhe kya? Did you keep dabba? Why did you not keep dabba? Nobody asks that. The Kanban is a signal. Just yes, no, there is not there. Okay, and it is repetitive. If it is there, milk. And you can make it like a green dabba means milk, a blue dabba means something, a red yellow dabba means something. Okay, or in that toned milk or this milk, different dabbas you can have. Okay, so depending on, it's an understanding if it is reached. If the dabba color is this, it is toned milk. Okay, if the dabba color is something else, different toned milk. This way of making these operations very efficient. Nobody talks, nobody says anything. Now, how do we apply this to vaccine distribution? If I have to take vaccine, I'll be taking only once, or maybe after 21 days, another. That's all. Okay. So at my level, there's only one time consumption, so it cannot be done. But if I stay in Hyderabad, okay, there are many people living in Hyderabad. So if in Hyderabad there is a center, okay, which can hold about 1 lakh vaccines. So 1 lakh vaccine it will get. Keep that in that storage of cold storage, what it is. So as the 1 lakh is getting consumed bit by bit, you will start wanting the next one. Okay, if Hyderabad population is 40 lakhs, you require 40 times this replenishments. That means, yeah, you can apply Kanban, because one will take about, say, 1 month, okay, or maybe 1 week for 1 lakh transmission. Okay, so every week you will be requiring 1 lakh consignment of vaccines for, say, 40 weeks. Now you can set a rhythm. You can have something repetitive. Okay, so as soon as this 1 lakh vaccines reduce to about half a lakh or 1/4 of a lakh, then I will tell, okay, you get one more. Okay, maybe I'll just, what is the simplest signal that I can give? I can give in Hyderabad. If you say like this, sit in a Irani hotel and say this, they'll give you one chai. Okay, so that's how the communication you need to establish. 1 lakh more vaccines must come. Okay, moment you give a signal, that will come, and the empty one will go away. Okay, so that's how the replenishment is possible for vaccine distribution if you make it into smaller lots. Okay, any other question? We have gone to, there is one question I received from, I don't know who, there was a, through, is Harshal Jain here? Harshal Jain? Is Harshal Jain in here? Is not there among the participants. Harshal Jain is from which company? I don't know. How to ensure, he asked two questions, maybe it will be of use to others also. How to ensure manpower employed is not excess to required manpower? In some way, what happens is, in a factory, everybody is working. As you go into the shop floor, you'll find all the machines are running, people are busy transporting materials from one place to another place. Okay, all this is going on. And if everybody is busy with their work, but if there are more people than there is work, what happens is there'll be one or two people who will be wasting their time. They'll start chit-chatting. Because they don't have enough work, they'll do a little bit slowly and they'll start talking. So this is a first signal that the people are not loaded. You know, in India, people want to talk. If they are talking, that means the work is less. Very simple. You've not loaded them enough. So that is the first symbol. Second thing is, maybe you don't have the time standards. As I was telling you, every aspect of work is measured. Every aspect is measured. How much time a particular thing takes. So you need to develop those standards at your place. What is another question is, what is the right way to compute used plant capacity? At what capacity utilization is your plant running? This is I'll try to answer in a different way. There was one company I was working in, and it was a packaging product, and the customer orders suddenly increased. A lot of orders have increased because a new sales guy, a smart guy has come and started selling, and lots of orders have started increasing. The manufacturing, initially, because there are no orders, they were very lax, but as the orders increased, they also started working more and they started producing more. The sales increased even more and production was not increased that much. So what happened with that is there is a backlog of orders. Last month's orders, even now, not cleared. After a few months, 2 months backlog of orders. After some time, 3 months backlog of orders were there. Because the capacity of the plant, it seems, is, they were all saying, plant is running to full capacity, you need buy one more plant and all that, okay? So I was asked to go and study what the problem is. I said, okay, fine, let me see. I went there and saw that it's running on 2 shifts. Why don't you run in 3rd shift? Said, no, we have problem union. They said, nothing doing. You run in 3rd shift. Whatever problem is there. Then I said, I'll come in 3rd shift. We just keep the people and supervisor and we will run it. So 3rd shift also started working. So there is some advantage. Then I said, why don't we run on Sundays and holidays also? Okay, that also is done. So it is producing more. So after that, then one day I went there and lunchtime is not working. Why lunchtime is not working? No, we have to clean the machine on lunchtime. Why you have to clean the machine? Oh, there is a lot of things that get stuck. How long does it take? It takes 2 hours to clean. Why it takes 2 hours to clean? No, the method that they use is not okay. Fine. So work on that, how to reduce from 2 hours to 1 hour to half an hour. Even 5 minutes. Can we replace it so that you don't have to clean them outside? Keep it running. So this is the way you keep on improving the output of the machine. So we never knew what actually is the utilization of the machine. And after some time, this plant is started producing more, and all the backlog of orders are cleared. And after some time, it so happened that there is more capacity, and they are saying, what order you would like to give us, we'll make and give you any time. Okay, so that is the way of looking at what is the capacity of plant. Okay, any more questions? Yeah. Or is it sufficient? I think there is so much to tell in manufacturing that if I get questions, I'll feel like opening up a little more. It's already 1 hour 20 minutes. Okay, so how would you like to see? Maybe I think I will tease you on another topic. Okay. If there are any questions, you can always raise the thing. Okay, this is one. I would like you to see when it comes to manufacturing, we talked about a lot of efficiency and all that. Okay, this is just to tease you. This Tracy and VSMI have done a lot of research and found that there are three types of companies. One is a company that follows product leadership. Another type of company is closeness to customer. They will follow closeness to customer. The third type of company is operational excellence. Product leadership company is something like iPhone, Apple iPhone. They keep producing new and new models. Okay, they maintain their leadership by being the product leader. Be the first one or give all the features and all that. Okay, and they say the customers don't know what they need. These companies determine what goes into iPhone. Now iPhone 12 or what it is, what goes into it, who is decided, the company is decided, and they'll give you, and you use that, and you feel very happy. It has this feature, that feature, and all that. Okay, you feel very happy about it. So the company is deciding what you are going to enjoy. That's product leadership. Another type of company is the closeness to customer. That means these people, they work close to the customer. They'll understand what the customer's problem is and try to solve that customer's problem. For example, doctors, lawyers, you can say that. Okay, they understand. Okay, the diagnosis, they'll do what is the limit, do that. You go to these fashion boutiques and all that, they'll ask ladies whatever makeup you want and all that. Okay, what suits your skin, what suits your hair. Okay, they will understand the customer and do it. They have no particular product to sell. They don't recommend this particular product or something. They say you require this, your things are like this, so you require this. And the more true these people are, that kind of a bonding the customer and the client and the service provider get into, being close to the customer. Third one is operational excellence. Operational excellence means irrespective of who the customer is, what I am very efficient, time, punctual, cleanliness, etc. Okay. For example, metro rail. They just want to say at so and so time it will work. It has clean. How many customers are getting into the train? How many customers are not getting into the train? They're not bothered. We just maintain our time. That's all. Okay, so in many cases, airlines, all the airlines also, at so and so time it will fly whether people are there or not. Okay, it is neither product leadership nor closeness to customer, operational excellence. So where would you put the manufacturing companies? They're not into product leadership, they're not into closeness to customer, they are into operational excellence. Okay. And there's another thing, most of the manufacturing companies, another thing that these people, the research people have found is the guy who works in product leadership company cannot work in operational excellence company because it requires a different frame of mind. A guy who is working in closeness to customer company cannot work in operational excellence company. A guy who is working in closeness to customer will say, oh, customers are coming, we'll wait. If he is a train driver or something like that, oh, two customers are coming running, we will stop the train. No, that's not okay. And these employees will find it very difficult to adjust from one to another. Okay, so this is what it is. So in our cost curve, what we have seen, okay, from job shop to batch to flow to continuous flow, as we come down, we move towards operational excellence. Okay, but again, there is another thing where you are moving from lean to sell and all that. There you are moving close to customer. Okay? So we are trying to meet these two. I'm trying to relate this to. Okay. So that's an additional knowledge that I thought I'll give you. Okay. So if there are no questions anymore, can we stop here? Or you want any specific input? We have just a few more minutes. Anyone?
Yes, sir. You can probably you can stop here, and
Okay.
probably if any questions is there, we can take up. Otherwise, Dr. George will summarize things. We'll give some time for highlighting the thing, whatever we learned during last 1.5 hours. Dr. George, are you there? Dr. George, are you there?
Yeah, I can see his name. Anyway, let me thank.
Okay.
I thank there are the attendants for there is a Dilip Karnik has raised his hand. Is it there? Would like to say something, Dilip? I see a raised hand.
You can directly can ask question now.
Yeah, is
Unmute
Dilip
and
Karnik.
ask question. Yeah.
Yeah. You can unmute. Do we have to unmute?
Yeah. He
So
has
you're,
to. He's
Yeah,
unmuted now. He can ask question.
yeah, Dilip.
Please go ahead, Mr. Dilip. Okay. So there seems to be some issue.
Or maybe it is.
You can write in a question answer. Chat box you can write, so we'll try to answer that. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead and ask Mr. Dilip. Okay, so there is some issue. He is unable to ask question. If he can leave that question in a question answers, probably we'll try to reply. It's a fantastic, sir. It is very nicely you covered all the things from the how actually operations connected to finance, how these lean concepts connected to finance, and some of the things like line balancing, industrial engineering, standardization, how it can save the cost. Basically, many times cost reduction means finance people understand differently, but doing efficiently work in operations is a major cost saving happens actually. But that expertise, lack of expertise or lack of exposure to those techniques actually is a major problem with the coordination with the finance and operations. So probably there is a gap going to reduce in coming days. So these type of sessions are very useful for the finance professionals, understanding line balancing, loading, manpower loading every day, flexible thing like adjusting the load. So this type of techniques, operation techniques, is continuously helps to reduce the cost. So optimization, the Kanban system and problem solving approach like Kaizen related. These are the very powerful tools, practical tools. Actually, they need to. Generally, what happens in big companies, these finance teams also included in Kaizen teams. I have seen in Tata Motors, I have seen in Caterpillar, I have seen in many MNCs. The finance team takes at least one or two people is included in this type of program. So definitely in many Indian companies is going to happen that. So very nicely covered, sir. It is really, you know, fantastic opportunity for them to explore this area and can really, get those benefits, cost saving benefits, cost reduction using this cost reduction technique. Thank you, sir. Thanks, Harish, for your support. And if anything is, if you need any help, support, anything, please write to us info@ipqc.in. We will be, communicating. And we also, if you need anything, you want to speak to Mr. Pradeep Kumar, definitely we can pass on that information to Mr. Pradeep. We will be coming back to you, and probably we can have something like a long-term support from Mr. Pradeep. Thank you so much. Anything, any other
Thank you
members?
so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We'll close the meeting. It's 4:31 now.
Yes,
Actually,
yes.
it's 3 to 4:30 we scheduled. So if any other members want to talk, we can give, you can probably you can comment, or we can close the meeting. And we'll be sending a feedback form on this webinar. Please fill that form because it's very important for us to document the thing. So we'll be sending this feedback form after completing this webinar. Automatically we get a link for a feedback. So please fill that and send it back to us. Thank you so much.